Amit. So, responding to today's question, according to me, if Scrum Master should remove impediments, sharing with an examples, but let's get first thing straight. Impediment. So, impediment is just a plain simple word for any blocker that would stop any team member to finish off his or her task, which might become as a hurdle to achieve or finish off the sprint goal or towards the product goal. That's plain and simple impediment. Now, yes, as part of the Scrum guide, Scrum Master is supposed to remove the impediment, but um, there is also the flip side of it. It should not happen all the time that the team is reaching out to Scrum Master for any impediment. So, what I mean by that is the team is supposed to first try and attain and try and be self-managing. Maybe talk within the team members, maybe try and reach out to different team members outside the Scrum team. But I believe they should be the ones who should be the first layer who should try and resolve the impediments, and then after maybe a couple of failed attempts or unsuccessful tries, they give up and they reach out to Scrum Master maybe for a different approach or a different thoughts on how to remove the impediments. Sharing a few examples. So let's cover a few examples from the Scrum perspective. So from Scrum perspective, maybe the team is requiring to reach out to and different departments of organization to resolve the blockers. Maybe to organize some session, maybe a software request is required, maybe they need to reach out to procurement team, maybe they need to reach out network team, infra team, something like that. But they are not able to do that. Maybe they are getting hard time to get a time slot of that respective team. So then in that case, Scrum Master can be an effective player. Another way is, Scrum Master is supposed to resolve conflicts. So if at first the team members are not able to resolve the disagreement, Scrum Master is the best person to bring in as a neutral party and try and resolve any conflict or any issues within the team. Yeah, one more is a practical real example is whenever there is a deadlock situation or a disagreement between team and PO and team and stakeholders, Scrum Master is again another good person to bring in and try and find a way to get that deadlock situation resolved. Um, more, yeah. If the team requires the coaching skills or facilitation skills, Scrum Master is again a good person to exhibit those skills and get that situation handled very well. Another way which I believe is where Scrum Master would be very effective is to let's say there has been some issue or some task is there where the team has to communicate and talk to different stakeholders or PO or different whoever. So in that case, they want to put up their point in a more effective way, or whenever they have tried, they have failed in the past attempts, they can bring in Scrum Master to put up that request in an effective way to these people, because I believe Scrum Master is supposed to have and he should have effective communication skills, negotiation skills as well. So in those terms, Scrum Master would be very good player in those scenarios. Um, I believe before I end this video, I believed I should add one more point. Scrum Master should not become the bottleneck for impediment. So what I mean by that is, in any way, it should not happen that the team is stopped or stuck because Scrum Master is not there and he's supposed to be the impediment remover. No, that should not happen. Like I said earlier, team should have tried it first. Maybe they fail, maybe they get a good way ahead, but they should have tried. Even if they fail, even if they have unsuccessful tries, in those cases only they should reach out to Scrum Master to resolve the impediments. So yeah, that's my response for today.
Hey, hi all. This is Abhishek again. So today topic is Agile Master have to remove impediment for a project for his Scrum team. So I can give you an example. Uh, in one of my project, we faced challenges for infrastructure and as well as cross skill training, and we found the requirement by the customer is React, and we got to know all the team members require access for the development, and we already started the sprint. So it's a initial hiccups for the team, where team need a support from the Scrum Master, where a Scrum Master need to reach to the stakeholder. Those are from the customer side or from the stakeholder management side. So they come across to me and ask, Abhishek, as a team, we are not able to deliver because we don't have an infrastructure available where we will start working on functionality for user stories, as well as the infrastructure as a cloud is not available. So we required access for it. So immediately I raise impediments I assigned to me, because I can do a follow up for the access part for the entire team, and parallelly I need to start across training for the team members, as we in future for the development we required a different skill set with the different people, and people have those skill set, but all individual don't have it. So we started a cross training trainings between the team members. I started pairing a team. So whenever they will start a discussion with the product owner, they understand what is needed on technical end, so that accordingly, while they are grooming a stories, they can create subtasks related to that. So nothing will be missed out, and that actually work out. And team now is a cross train. They are able to deliver all the technical aspect of the team, and the part of infrastructure access. uh, I reach to the management. They understand. I got the diversion approvals. I able to get the all access for the entire team. They were able to set up their development branches, GitHub, everything they are able to set up, and they are able to work from the next sprint. So this is how I was able to deliver, and I I work for the team for impediments. My understanding, in future team also help me out, because they also cross train. So one of the impediment they resolve, but I help them how to do it. So it's not only agile a scrum duty to resolve the impediments. Sometimes he have to delegate to the team, and accordingly, while he have to see as per his experience, which he can take it as per the priority, and which he can delegate to the team. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone. Today I'm going to tell about my opinion regarding SM should remove impediments within his or her team. A great Scrum Master, aware of his roles and responsibilities, and knows when and how to apply those things, depends on the situation and context. Everything with the purpose of helping the team to understand and apply the framework better. And as a good SM should create an environment where raising impediments can occur, also should create an environment where creativity can occur. Before going into the main topic, I would like to we should understand the definition of the impediments. Impediments is a factor that actually block the development team in creating a valuable piece of software in a sprint, or a problem that goes beyond the self organization of the development team. An event that impedes any of the developer from working towards an anticipated sprint goal. Okay, now we can see some possible impediments example, like The very common example is a conflict between team members, then unavailability of product owner, undesirable or unforeseeable changes in the team composition, illness of team member, then uh, undesirable pressure from the management team, skills scarcity of skills, lots of unimportant meeting SM has development team has to attend. Now we need to discuss about the SM services towards the development team. As per Scrum Guide, we all know that SM has to remove impediments towards the dev team progress. Also, as a servant leader, SM has to encourage team in towards the self-organizing and cross functionality. SM also helps team to encourage, then support and enable a team to reach their full potential and ability. To consider all these things, SM should make a conscious decision about removing the impediments. So he can consider few questions before removing the impediments. First is it really an impediment, or dev team can resolve by themselves, or do we really need to remove these impediments? And also what is the he need to understand what is the real problem here. Also, SM has to have a clear understanding between the blocks and the impediments, because block is something which actually affects on a single task, affecting the single task, but impediments is actually affecting the whole team, where it prevents the team to reach their anticipated goal. It is very important for an SM to understand or realize that the given example of the possible impediments doesn't have to be impediments. Something will only be impediments when it actually goes beyond the self-organizing capabilities of the team. Now, suppose the scarcity of skill might be an impediment, but trust the self-organizing character of the team. They should think of the other other option. It might be the case that the team member is eagerly wanted to learn the desired skill and sees that as an opportunity. Also, the conflict between team member doesn't have to be an impediment. Let them have an immense discussion between them. But here, what SM can do is he can lead them through an let them have an intense discussion between them. Where SM can do here is he can lead the team through a healthy conflict and debate. This actually lead to even a stronger team. SM should create an environment where team member can feel safe while raising an impediment. By respecting the self-organizing behavior of a team, SM should encourage the team to resolve their own problem, or even better, preventing something to become a impediment at all. Considering every minor issues as an impediment which needs to resolve by the SM does not help the development team to grow as a whole. So SM should always continuously finding a right balance between preventing and fighting a fire. Thank you.
Hi all, good evening. Today's question is a Scrum Master should remove impediments in his or her team. So we need to explain this with an example. So as a Scrum Master, on a daily basis, we get to face a lot of impediments. And I feel it's the duty of the Scrum Master to remove impediments and ensure the team is working smooth. So I'll give you a couple of example of the impediments where I have faced and how I have resolved it. So usually the team which I handle predominantly works on the integration. So it used to happen that whenever the testing team used to set up their test data, uh, it used to take some time from one application to another application in order to flow. This was the reason there was a delay, because there was a lot of jobs which used to run. The testing team used to set up data, and they used to wait for a long time. And whenever, as a scrum master, I used to ask why there was not any progress on the user stories, they used to come back and say, whatever data we have set up has not flown to our system at all. So at that point of time, I had a, even though this was not a kind of a very technical impediment, as a scrum master, I connected with the scrum master of the other team. And predominantly in most of the scrum teams, we started facing the similar issues. So because we had some master application where the data used to flow to our application, at that point of time, we all decided, and as a scrum master, everyone started giving their ideas on removing the impediments, where I gave the team up an idea that we could automate those jobs, and probably on a daily basis, we could publish the health of those jobs. And based on that, we automated our jobs, and we used to get all the health of that job, whether the job is running or not. So based on this, we were able to analyze, whether the testing team had to wait for some time in order to get their data, how the issues could be handled more effectively. This is how we resolved one of the impediment. Other impediment, which I as a scrum master solved, was the attitude issue. There was a senior resource, junior resource, and whenever they were lacking some coordination, the senior resource used to bully the junior resource. Whereas I, as a scrum master, I had faced similar situation, and I coached that particular person, always helping the junior member will help him to gain more respect. And he would basically do a network in the organization. Networking is very much necessary if you have to grow in an organization, especially in the team. So if you want to really increase the respect, you have to always mentor your juniors. This way, I coached him, and I ensured that an attitude impediment was removed from the team. I hope I have answered the question. So please let me know uh, um, whether my answer is correct or not through the comments. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Hi all, Jagdish here. So today's question was, should Scrum Master remove the impediments? But before going to the main answer, I would like to deep dive into what exactly are impediments. Impediments are any hindrance due to which a task cannot be completed. So there could be multiple types of hindrance, internal, external, or behavioral. So uh, for example, internal could be if somebody is on unplanned leave and his task is not completed. So in that case, uh, that task can be redistributed in the team, and it can be completed within the stipulated time frame. Secondly, if somebody is new to the team and he or she is not aware of the product properly, so in this case, somebody from the team who have better knowledge of the product, better understanding, can help them out with resolution of their problem. And third could be third party dependency. So if a product is being developed and uh, the third party dependency is there, and they are not aware how to go ahead, so in this case, Scrum Master can reach out to the responsible person or the spock, where they can get their resolution and get the work done. So lastly, I would like to say, yes, removing impediments is primary job of Scrum Master. However, Scrum teams should be self-evolving and learning. So they should first check out if they can uh, work on their own, can resolve those impediments on their own. If not, then they can approach the Scrum Master, who can resolve the impediments by getting hold of the right person or the right team, uh, from where we can get the required resolution. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi all, today's question is, should a Scrum Master remove all impediments? So my opinion is Scrum Master can remove the impediments if that cannot remove their own, that cannot be removed by the development team. So for example, if the Scrum team has, or one of the developer has an issue with their laptop, and that's of course an impediment, but they don't need to connect with the Scrum Master to improve, to remove that particular impediment. They can do that themselves. But for example, some other impediments, like they have some issues with the development region, or they have some issues promoting the code from the development region to QA region, and they have tried it and it didn't work. They have some dependencies with the other team, and they tried to contact the other team and they didn't get any reply from the other team. So any impediment that stops the work, that stop the progress of the development, or any impediment that you cannot remove theirself, can be taken to a Scrum Master. Also, Scrum Master is not someone who removes the impediment. Also, he or she can signal the impediment also. So Scrum Master is someone who can signal or remove impediment. It's not that he or she should remove the impediment. So if cannot be removed thereon, it can be taken to the Scrum Master, and the Scrum Master can help the team to continue or progress.
Hi, this is Kirti here, and today's question is, should a Scrum Master solve the impediments of the team? My answer would be, the Scrum Master should own the impediment, definitely, because that is a primary role, responsibility of a Scrum Master. And also in the process, the Scrum Master should ensure that this team gets more and more self-organized, and how to make information transparent so that the team themselves can solve the impediments. If there are some external impediments, definitely the Scrum Master should pitch in. For an example, in my case, there was one technical issue which the team was stuck in, and I am from the technical background. But as a Scrum Master, my key skill is to have a good networking skill, and so I know people in DBA and BA, development, testing, and all facets of development life cycle, where people can pitch in and help the team members. So definitely I requested that person, and he pitched in and helped the team, and the team were able to solve it, and they also understood the importance of networking. So so next time they could approach him themselves. So first idea should be to how to ensure that team gets more and more self-organized, where they can help each other rather than going outside the team, and then definitely approaching somebody from outside. Also, as a Scrum Master, my responsibility is to make information more and more transparent. For an example, if some machine is very slow and there's a RAM issue, then ideally, instead of me going to the support team and asking for fixing their machine, I make information more and more transparent, that okay, in case you face this issue, ticket has to be raised so that the time clock starts, and how you can track it, and then if it is not solved in a stipulated time, then we escalate it to the next level. So in that case, the team gets more and more self-organized, and they depend on more on themselves as well as other team members in the team, and so that their pace, or the pace in which they can solve the issues, doesn't stop, and it doesn't depend on one person as Scrum Master. So definitely the Scrum Master should own the impediment, but solving themselves, it's totally, the idea is to make team more and more self-organized. Thank you.
Hello everyone. So today's question is, according to you, Scrum Master should remove impediment of his or her team? Give an example. So basically, one of the responsibility of Scrum Master is to handle the impediments that team are facing. It doesn't mean that all the time Scrum Master should remove the impediments. Like if team are facing technical challenges or technical impediments or blocker while developing, so it's their responsibility to resolve the impediment that are technical. But suppose if there are some impediments that are blocking due to some infrastructure activity, or they are not at their level, so they can ask scrum master to help, and it's scrum master responsibility to check such kind of impediments and resolve the impediments the team are facing, uh, to have a smooth delivery of the product. So for example, suppose if the build is failing, so in this case it's team's responsibility to resolve the issue, that what is the error it is coming on the for build. But suppose we have some server and that server is getting expired, so we need to take help from some other teams like infrastructure team or some other third party team. So it's scrum master responsibility to take the activity forward and resolve this impediment for the scrum team. So we can say that scrum master can also solve impediments in collaboration with scrum team. Thank you.
Hi all. Today's question is, Scrum Master should remove the blockers of his or her team. So, in general, what is meant by a blocker? Blocker is nothing but something that that keeps endurance of your progress, or something that pulls your velocity down. So, Scrum Master, one of the prime job of Scrum Master is to remove the impediments or the blockers. So that comes as the responsibility of Scrum Master. So he has to keep an eye and track the blockers and the impediments which is hindering the velocity. But it's not necessary that Scrum Master alone has to resolve the blockers or impediments. If a team has an ability to resolve the blocker by themselves, it is highly encouraged to do like that. For example, if a team has any technical issues or design issues, right? So in that case, if they have to contact some internal architect team or something, they can directly contact them instead of waiting for the scrum master to schedule a meeting and then conduct a meeting. They can directly contact them. In case if the team doesn't have the ability, which does not lie within their range, then they can contact or raise the concern to the scrum master, so that scrum master can resolve it. For example, if there is any third party dependency, in that case team can raise the concern to the scrum master. Then it's the prime job of the scrum master to ensure that blocker is resolved. And if there are any blockers which occurs repeatedly, scrum master has to ensure those blockers are addressed and removed by taking appropriate action by working with the team during the sprint retrospective. So I agree that Scrum Masters should remove, because it is a responsibility of the Scrum Master to remove the impediments or the blockers. But Scrum Master should also make the team as a self-organized team. On that aspect, team should step up to remove the blockers by themselves. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Praveen Kumar. So today's question is, according to you, whether the Scrum Master is a person who is removing the impediments in his Scrum team. So what's your opinion? So actually, Scrum Master is a servant leader. So he's a person who is guiding the development team for self-organized one and as well as cross-functional. And also he is a person who is actually encouraging and supporting the development team to rise to the potential and abilities. So in order to do that one, he has to know about he has to take the conscious action, as well as he has to remove the impediments also. So then what is the impediment? Now impediment is nothing but is a blocking factor that is stopping the development team process further. So in this case, the Scrum Master should have to be aware about the impediments. So what is an impediment, and whether he has to address the impediment very urgently, or in other cases whether the impediment can be resolved by the team itself, by the development team itself. So the Scrum Master is a person who can facilitate and create an environment to resolve these kind of impediments within the team. So he can make an environment for that one. So in most of the cases, in some cases, the Scrum Master will not directly involved in removing the impediments. One such example is that technical issues, technical impediments. Here, the development team has to take the action on that one, and the Scrum Master will be giving suggestions for that one. So another impediment is like the absence of resources during the sprint. So the Scrum Master has to take appropriate action to fill the particular places by self-organizing the team. And suppose in the case of the product owner itself is absent for some period, then he has to take the conscious decision for that absence, and have to resolve the impediment also. So in some cases there are some infrastructure issues, impediments also there. So that issues has to be addressed immediately, because in case of some server failures, in this case the development team cannot proceed further. So he has to take appropriate immediate action and does not want to wait for the next Scrum daily stand-up meeting. So these are the one of few impediments, and the Scrum Master has to verify this kind of impediments and has to track all the impediments. The impediment should have transparency, because it should be tracked and should be aware. It should be known to others also. And in some cases the actual issue is not an impediment, because a normal blockage is not an impediment. That will be a normal block will be focusing on a particular task or a feature only, but an impediment will be having an impact on the whole development process. So he has to know about whether it is an impediment or not, whether he has to give time to report that one or address that one, whether really it is an impediment. So another problem is don't want to waste the time to go for a wrong impediment. For example, in some cases there will be a software update that has to be done. That is not that much of important, but that can be done in the next sprint also.
Hi all, this is Praveen, and today's question is as a Scrum Master we should remove impediment from his or her team. Being Scrum Master we should always remove impediment. If a Scrum team facing some of technical challenges in development, if there are any challenges or blockers which are related to the infrastructure, in that case team can approach Scrum Master, and it is Scrum Master responsibility to work with the team to remove those impediment to deliver the final product smoothly. So he can also collaborate with the different team if necessary, and also if there is any key person dependency, so Scrum Master, being a Scrum Master, he might be also look that part as well. And he also make sure that cross functionality is there, because most of the time what happened was one person having one person having a good knowledge of one particular asset classes or one particular part of the work, chunk of the work, but but another person is having the great knowledge of another chunk of the work. In that person, it's scrum master responsibility to connect both people on the same page and work collaboratively and deliver the final project. So it's scrum master duty to make sure that team will be collaborated and work on final delivery or work on the one vision. Yeah, that's it from my side. Thanks, Suman, for the giving me. Thanks, Suman, for the this opportunity.
Hello friends, good evening. So today's question is, should Scrum Master remove the impediments for his or her team? We have to explain with an example. So the straight answer will be yes. He has to remove the impediments for his team. That's one of the duties of the Scrum Master. But there are a lot of things that depends. I would say there are a lot of categories of impediments are there. Like there might be some personal impediments in the team, wherein the developers in the team are not interacting properly, and there might be technical impediments. Wherein there are some technical issues which the developer is unable to fix, and there are also some external impediments which are beyond the reach of the developers to fix it. So if you take all those impediments into account, the first one is personal impediments, or people-based impediments. These impediments should definitely be fixed or addressed by the Scrum Master. Only if the team is healthy, if the team is communicating properly, and if the team is functioning properly with all the values, then the Scrum is effective or the Agile is effective. So that's one thing. And coming to technical impediments, yeah, of course, the Scrum Masters will fix it, but it should not be like he should not become a go-to guy for fixing the technical impediments. The first thing is, the developer should try to fix them by themselves, because Agile or Scrum teaches one of the core values of Scrum is to self-manage. Okay, so it's not like if there is an impediment you have to wait for the Scrum Master to come and fix it for you. If you are able to fix it by yourself, you have to fix it. You should not waste the time and say like, yeah, this has to be fixed by the Scrum Master. So that's one thing. Of course, there are some technical issues wherein the developer is finding hard to fix it. Then probably the Scrum Master can lend a hand. But like I said, he should not be a go-to guy to fix the impediments. Then the other thing is whatever impediments are there, and it's not like when some impediments happen, once the Scrum Master fix it, the next time he has to teach the team to fix the impediments by themselves. Okay, not he should not say like, okay, whatever impediments is there, you bring it to me. He should say like, you figure it out and you try to fix it. I'm here to help you, I'm there, but you should not wait for me to fix the impediment. You should try to fix it by yourself. It's not like escaping his duty, but being agile, simply being agile. So that's one of the thing. And like I said, seeing these things, of course he has to fix the impediments for the team, but the other point is, he should not be a go-to guy to fix the impediments. The teams or the developers should be self manageable. They have to manage everything by themselves, but in cases wherein they can't fix it, then they can bring those things to the Scrum Master, and also Scrum Master should be vigilant to check whether any impediments are happening in the team, and he has to fix it. And giving some example is, you know, I will give you a very very simple example. In my team, we had a tool for which the team just enter the password wrongly, and it got blocked, so we have to reset the password. And first time, they actually, the developers didn't know how to reset the password, or what is the correct way to obtain the password reset. That was an impediment. It might sound silly, but that happens in a lot of teams, and I fixed it for them. Like, I just checked what has to be done. I contacted the IT service desk, and I figured it out how it can be done. And then I shared it with the team. See, this is the procedure, and this has to be followed, so that you can reset the password at any time you want. But uh, second time also it happened, and they just ignored that mail, and just came back and said, like, the password got blocked, so can you help us? So, these times, you should you should say to them, like, see, I have sent you an email. Of course, this is an impediment, but you should not repeat this. You have to self manage it, and I have already clearly given you the things how to replace the password, so please follow this. Like that, you have to teach them to be self manageable also. This is one classic example, I would say, which can happen in any team. It might sound silly, password reset, but because of passwords, the project got delayed for a lot of time. This happened in many projects. So this is one example which I like to quote, which will be very simple and easy to understand to all the people. Thank you guys. See you. Bye.
Hi all. Today's question is like, what is the impediment and how will you help as a Scrum Master to remove the impediment for the Scrum team? So based on my understanding, impediment is something like which is blocking the development team in achieving their sprint goal, which they already committed. So uh, so the self-organizing team, maybe they are not able to solve themselves the issues or the blocker they are having. This is actually called as an impediments. This impediments can come in certain ways, like there may be some times which occur like the there may be like technical impediments like region availability, or some of the thing which we faced in my team, like spaces. So this and all, they can reach out to other teams and get it sorted. This type of things, most of the times I have seen from my teams, they resolve themselves in a day and proceed further. So one of the instance which occurred in my team was that was one of the team I joined actually newly there as a joined there. So at that time actually we did our planning, and for that release we want to actually consume one of the service which the team has not previously used that service for a long time in test region. So the thing is, what happened when they started consuming that service, it's not actually, we are not getting a response most of the date times. Then later on, in a day or two, after 2 days, we found out that the reason is due to the enough CPU is not available due to the legacy batch systems are consuming most of the CPUs. So they have to wait till that batch cycle is over. That's mostly early morning US timings it will start working. So this was actually a blocker, or it is one of the impediments which the team found out. So there was no actually the team was not able to solve themselves. So later, like, which I took this to this management later, then they also found out, like, they tried to kill most of the unwanted job schedules which has been running. thus caused some improvements, but still it was not. Later after a week, they agreed to add upon some more CPUs. So yeah, that was done after 2 weeks, and but that sprint we had actually many spillover stories due to that later that. But for that release we made it successful. Maybe this is one of the example I remember which occurred in my team as an impediment, and we solved that successfully. Yeah, thank you.
Hi all. So today's topic on impediments and Scrum team. An impediment is something which is keeping the team from getting the work done, and also when the velocity is slowing up. So anything that is stopping the team from achieving the goal and moving away from the commitment, it is said to be an impediment. Mostly impediments will be something like a sick team member, lack of resources, lack of technical expertise, and lack of management support. When there is a lack of proper planning, not able to handle the dependencies between external teams. So and there is no transparency between the team members within a single Scrum team. So the etc like this, everything is said to be an impediment. Anything that is stopping the team in achieving their goal is said to be an impediment. Mostly the impediments will be discussed during daily Scrum, and when it is reoccurring continuously, it need to be addressed and discussed during the sprint retrospective. Mostly the team members will try themselves to resolve the impediments. If it is going beyond their ability to solve it, then the Scrum Master gets in, and he takes up and try to get it resolved using the outer resources. So something like when at such situations there will be when it is reoccurring, and it is not in a position to solve the impediments, then there is a process called A3 process, which has been introduced by Toyota, developed by Toyota, and it comes as learning, collaborating, and effective teams. So there is a proverb which fosters this process by Abraham Lincoln, which is give me 6 hours of time to cut down the tree, of which first 4 hours will be taken for sharpening the axe. So this will definitely help the agile organizations which are trying to implement and trying to start agile process in their organization. First they need to sharpen their basic axes, like having a proper knowledge about agile processes, and having it proper trying to provide proper training to the team members, and having a transparent communication within the team on how innovatively they can achieve together to meet their goals. And such things can happen only when there is basic things have been addressed. And organization is not just about the management, it is also about the team, from the basic level of the employees. So everyone have to be involved, and it is not about the level of employees, it is all about their involvement towards the organization and the achievement together. And A3 process can be told in several steps, identifying what is the problem, and capturing the current situation, and conduct root cause analysis, and having the countermeasures for to address those root causes, and have your target goal, and to reach the target goal have your plan ready,
and have your team together with the necessary problem solving skills, and implement those plan, evaluate the result, and see how you have improved. So this will be the A3 process, and this will help to remove the impediments which is reoccurring frequently. So this is my understanding.
So hi friends, my name is Shitangshu, and today's question is about what is impediments, and as a Scrum Master, he or she should remove the impediments from the Scrum teams. So if you'll see the broader sense, exactly what is the impediments? So impediments is nothing but something is blocking on your way to proceed, and so if you will answer all these WH words, so you will come to know, like who can resolve those issues, like who's responsible for to unblock the blockings. So if you see the job role of a Scrum Master, or as per the Agile manifesto, one of the primary role of the Scrum Master is to remove impediments from, and make the team unblock to on their way, so that they can proceed with their daily activities. So what kind of impediment it will be? So what is the category of impediments? So there are various kind of impediments, the dependency might be within the team, or between the user stories, like one user story is dependent on the other user stories. Like if you will give examples, like suppose some e-commerce website is there. If you want to check out the product without login, you can't do the checkout. So first you have to implement the login functionality, then only you can implement the checkout functionality. So you have to, as a Scrum Master, you have to know all the dependency, so that we can remove those kind of impediments. And the other impediments can be like cross functional team, dependency between cross functional teams. So how we can address those impediments? So we have something called Scrum of Scrum, and if more teams are involved, kind of thing, then during those Scrum of Scrum, you can discuss about the impediments, and respective Scrum owners will address those issues and help you to unblock. And the other kind of impediments will be external kind of things, for any hardware requirement or software license requirement, you have to get approval from the senior management, or product owner or management, so that you can purchase those softwares. So those kind of impediment, definitely it will take time, because so many approvals is required, and definitely it takes some times and some follow.
Hello everyone. So today's question is, should a Scrum Master solve the impediments? And to share my thoughts on the same. So firstly, we have to understand what is an impediment. An impediment is a blocker which hinders your team's progress from achieving the sprint goal. If an agile team is newly formed, and if they are having blockers among themselves, then the Scrum Master can guide and support the team to help resolve the impediments on their own. And if the blocker is present outside the team, then the Scrum Master can solve the impediment for the team in case of newly formed agile teams. But one of the very important capabilities of a Scrum Master is to help the team to become self-managed. So in that case, the Scrum Master should coach the team with the right to have the right mindset and tools, so that they can solve the impediments on their own. And not only that, she can also ask powerful questions to give a perspective to the issue, so that the team can find the solutions to their issues on their own. Thank you.
Hi friends, this is Shavik, and today's topic is how a Scrum Master should remove impediments for the Scrum team. Well, I recollect an incident where I was participating in a quiz in an is one of the Agile conferences, and I was asked a true and false question, that is Scrum Master responsible for removing impediments for the Scrum team? Yeah, I chose false, which apparently was incorrect. So the view that I was having is that the Scrum Master is not responsible for solving all the issues of the Scrum team, rather only those which are beyond the abilities of the Scrum team. Well, that makes me think to modify today's topic. Like, how about how a Scrum Master should remove impediments for the Scrum team, which the team cannot remove on their own? Yeah. So let us first understand what an impediment is. I see an impediment as anything that is stopping a Scrum team to progress towards their sprint goal. Impediments are abstract. This can be applicable to many things, right? Impediments can come in many forms and have many effects on a team. Some can simply slow down the team, and some can stop the team dead in their tracks. It's like a kind of a showstopper. Whatever the type of impediments is, what we should do, like as a Scrum Master, what we are supposed to do. So as a Scrum Master, I need to make sure that I am not the bottleneck of the team, right? If I need to resolve all the impediments, I could be a bottleneck because the team is dependent on me. I am creating a dependency around me that I am the only one who is going to resolve or mitigate any of the impediments that are coming up. So that's why I must facilitate impediment removal. I should help the team and the organization to be able to identify and remove impediments, and empowering the rest of the development team, including the product owner, to solve the problem on their own. I will gladly extend my previous knowledge, or you can say my network, to help them in any way I can. So, yeah, but there can also be a chance that I take over sometimes, right? But in general, I would much rather have the team do it themselves, because it also moves the team closer to the stakeholders, it closer to the product owner or closer to the users, and stuffs like that. So instead of only me as a Scrum Master getting the knowledge and building the network, I'm helping my team to get that. So I'll say the idea here is that the person within the team who is most effective to resolve the impediment should take that up. It can be me as a Scrum Master, or a product owner, or a developer, right? Or the focus here should be towards removing the impediment ASAP, and towards the value creation. Yeah. So let me actually take an example. Yeah, it's very interesting. So suppose I have an experienced developer within my Scrum team, and who is having a great working relationship with the operation team. So now our team identified a technical impediment which need to be solved by the operation team. Now, if I'm taking the ownership of this impediment, it may take more time for me, as I may need to do back and forth to answer any of the technical questions asked by the operation team. I need to get back to my team, get the answer, and then follow it back with the operation team. So, and also, like, I may need to go through the proper channel to raise an incident ticket and then do a follow-up to get the issue resolved. But now, take a scenario: if this same impediment is owned by the developer, he can leverage his technical expertise as well as his working relationship with his operation team to get this resolved more quickly, right? So as a Scrum Master, I can take care of the process part of the raising an incident and etc. Maintaining the ticket in the board or anything like that. But the ownership of the impediment can be taken up by the person who is most effective within the team to get it resolved. Yeah, it makes sense, right? So one more thing, like the Scrum Guide. So this is the Scrum Guide. So the Scrum Guide says that typically Scrum Master removes the impediments, but for me it is much more important to make sure that some kind of facilitation around this happens. Normally people that who are actually new to Agile or new to Scrum, the organizations who are now getting transformed into Scrum, they take the statement from a Scrum Guide in a wrong sense. They treat Scrum Masters as a Scrum secretary, which is actually an anti-pattern. They think that having someone to do all the small things is nice, and it makes them more effective. Well, that's actually not true. It shouldn't be like a team member coming to me and saying, hey Scrum Master, my pen is empty, can you get me a pen? Well, it doesn't work like that. So uh, let me tell you a quick story. This is from the pre-COVID times, so when we all used to go to office. So I had a developer who walked across the office to me one day, and it's also like he walked across around 20 cubicles away because I was sitting with on my another team that at that point of time. So he came to me and say, "Hey Shavik, my laptop is not getting connected to the network. Can you please raise a help desk ticket to me?" Okay, I said okay, and he also said that I need to. I need you to put the help desk ticket on me because it's an impediment for me. I'm not able to, do my work. The work that I've committed for the sprint, I'm not able to proceed with it. Okay, fine, fair enough. So I said, why you walked across the office when you have a person, a team member sitting next to you, and even he can raise the ticket for you? He said, because you are the scrum master and you remove impediments. Well, I said, I am the scrum master and I remove impediments that you can't remove on your own. Yeah. If you come to me and tell me that, yeah, there is a org level control that's put in place by the organization or some stage gate team, and that makes you go through unwanted approvals to move your code to production, and which is causing unnecessary delay, that's an impediment. I will work on that. I'll go to any extent to reach out to the teams which are preventing you from promoting your code to prod quickly. I can reach out to management. I can reach out to leadership team. I will try my best to make sure that this impediment is addressed and resolved, because this is a kind of impediment which is blocking us to deliver the value to our customer fast, right? And this is something where decision need to be made at org level. It's not like you want me to raise a help desk ticket. I'll definitely jump in it if it's beyond team's capability to solve, but not this. As a SM, my job is ensuring the effectiveness of the team, and sometimes there are impediments which are hanging on the scrum board for some time. So one thing is there that letting an impediment linger for a long time doesn't feel effective to me. It's really not effective. So that's where, and that's why the impediment beyond the team's ability or scope to solve must be taken up by Scrum Master. It may include, partnering with the management or leadership team to get the job done, but some accountability should lie with the Scrum Master. Yeah. So let me sum it up before I end my video. Scrum Master must empower teams to be self-managing, never undermine the self-organizing capabilities of a Scrum team. Considering every minor issue and impediment that needs to be resolved by the Scrum Master doesn't help that Scrum team to grow as a whole, and also in the long term, right? You want your team to get mature, get to that Shuhari stage, or that norming, forming, storming, and performing stage. You want your team to reach to that performing stage, so stop spoon feeding them. Don't undermine the capabilities of the Scrum team. And it's all about continuously finding the right balance between preventing a fire and fighting a fire. That's all I wanted to share. Thanks for listening. Have a good day. Cheers.
Hello everyone. Today's question is, should a Scrum Master solve the impediments? At first we'll see what an impediment is. An impediment is a blocker which slows down the overall progress of the team. One of the role of the Scrum Master is to remove the impediment. For that, first the Scrum Master should create an environment so that the team feel free to raise the impediments. Not always Scrum Master will solve the impediments. If the impediment is within the team, then the Scrum Master will suggest the team members to solve by themselves. If somebody is taking leave, or someone is having the scarcity of skill, then in all that cases the Scrum Master should tell the team to take some decisions for that. So in that case the Scrum Master should allow the team to grow by themselves. If the impediment is outside the team, that is, if someone's system crashes, then he can report it to the outside team. If there is dependency with other teams, then the Scrum Master can contact the other teams and check whether it is getting resolved. I think I answered the question. Thank you.